This trip's about fishing, cooking, and just a general play around. Weather is magnificent. We've got no wind, there's not a cloud in the sky, but you'll see shortly. We haven't seen the beach yet, but I'm sure it's going to be soft. This is where the excitement starts to get your juices flowing. Carrying a trailer, camper trailer. It's actually an old lighting tower from Coates. You know, those triangle orange ones you see, they're quite old now. I don't think they're out. I don't think they're using them anymore, but I've actually taken one of those trailers, gutted it out and made it into this. So I won't go through it now, but later on I'll take you through all the features, all the things I've added on. Got a kitchen here, slides out, storage in the front. There's a few other bits and pieces I'll show you later.
Yeah man, caught a couple of, what did we catch? Herring? Nice. Before I even got in the water, I caught a herring. So all that time getting the yaks out, caught a few. It's nice. Have a feed later on.
So it didn't quite turn out the way we planned. We got to the spot, we'd never been there before, so there's a big bloody sign saying no camping, no camping. They're doing burn off, so we've decided not to stay there. We're going to head back to Pemberton. We caught a few fish, just got herring, so head back to Pemberton. There's nice little spots we know. We'll cook up. Got a few things to cook up, do some damper, and we'll just see where it takes us. So we'll see you soon.
Heading towards Pemberton on Chesapeake Road, we found a small little track veering off towards Broke Inlet, so we decided to push on through and see what was on the other side.
Found something in the bead of the tyre, have a look.
Maggots turn into flies, and they give you the shits all summer.
So this is an old Coates lighting tower. You know those orange triangle trailers? You don't see them very much anymore. I've seen a couple on the road, but yeah, this is basically it. So I got an old trailer for about, I think it was $300. It was pretty good. It wasn't registered. Had the wheels on there. The tread's pretty good. But basically stripped it back to just the frame, and it obviously had the engine in it. I didn't buy it with the engine in it, but it was basically just a shell. So the first thing I did was concentrate on the drawbar. Put a treg on there, obviously for articulation. It actually had this heavy duty jockey wheel on it already, which is good. It gets a little bit in the way, for you know, clearance and that sort of thing, but it folds up underneath. The wheel sits under there. It's got a nice locking mechanism here. So the next thing I did was just added these steps in. So obviously there's the wheel arch, and this is the main frame in here. That gives it that triangle shape of those lighting towers. And then I just added this little shelf in here, and same on the back. And then welded up this little box on the side. This is basically the main water supply, which hooks up to a water tank underneath. And here's the filling station here, which is all plumbed up. And then around the trailer I've put in these little holders. So there's a jerry can holder here, and then on the other side, which you'll see soon, I've got some gas bottle brackets. So that's a standard Howling Moon touring tent. So that's where the roof rack comes in. Needed to get it a bit higher, so obviously thinking about the awning. I mean, it's right on it at the moment, and I could go a bit higher, but I could space this up. But that was the whole idea of raising that roof rack up to house the tent and the height of the awning. And then I just caged it in to make use of that space for a bit of storage. So this door here, that opens up, and then you can just put stuff in there, like tarpaulins and that sort of thing. I've actually covered the whole trailer in Raptor. So it's like that Line X, I think it's called Line X. It's that rough, gives it that coarse texture. But pretty happy with that. This front enclosure, the idea was just for storage for wood. You know, driving through the bush, you see a nice piece of wood, you cut it up and you just dump it in here. See here we've got the fuel tank for the boat. You know, it's just a mess area. And this is just a standard net for the back of the ute. And I just cut it up, threaded some elastic through it. That's the whole idea. Got some holes in the bottom for drainage and that sort of thing. But that's all aluminium with a metal frame. So the back of the trailer, originally it was just closed in with a piece of sheet metal, but I took that out, added these doors. Obviously this door opens up, you can put all the big stuff in the back. And then the back tailgate comes down, but I actually welded up these drawers. They come right out. So basically you can, there's a lot of storage here. Put some rectangle section in here, and then just heavy duty bearings. So we got the other drawer here. And that's basically, I use this drawer for food. Just put all my food in there, but this trip was it was a quick trip. It was a long weekend, so we didn't really have time to get everything set up, but that's just full of food. So if I want food, just bring out the drawer, it's all laid out. You don't have to search through boxes and all that sort of thing. But that's it there, and that's just storage for accessories and axes and all that sort of stuff. I don't know, I think they're the drawers, because they still go underneath. I think they're about 2 meters long. So you can still put the stuff you don't usually use down the back. So underneath, just put some standard Elco stabilizers underneath. And I mean, they're such a heavy duty item. You can actually use them to lift up your trailer. See, I'm using this one here, not using the other one, but just this one to lift up the trailer and make it level. So it's basically a trailer on a tripod. You've got the two stabilizers on the back and the jockey wheel at the front. You can get it to any angle you need. This is my shower here. It's just a little shower head. It's hooked up to a 12 volt pump, pressure sensored pump. So basically you pull the trigger and you know what happens next. Okay, so the electrics. This was the last thing I did actually. once everything was done. Obviously you know where to run everything. But simple, very simple system. I haven't got it hooked up to the main battery. There's no Anderson plug at the front because all I'm doing is running LED lighting. The biggest thing that's going to be running off this system is the 12 volt pump underneath. It's a decent sized pump, it's 2.9 GSM, but I mean, how long is that going to be running for? Not long. So it's just LED lighting. I've got a little box here. Got your charging station, you've got USB ports. This is a Blue Sea system. It's very hard to find high amperage USB points, and I found one. Blue System's got one. It's pretty expensive. It's about 69 bucks, but it's a 4.8 amp twin USB socket. So you've got 2.4 on each port. Most of them have got like 2.4 in total. So then you put two devices, it splits that 2.4 up on the devices. But this one's a good one. Very expensive, but you know, I thought it was worth it. Just a 12 volt cigarette plug at the top for those devices. We got the main battery switch here, on off. That's also a Blue Sea system, very good quality. And then at the moment I've got this switching panel here. I've got enough room for a few more switches if I need, but at the moment I've got the main light switch for inside here. So I've hooked up a couple of three-way lighting switches. So three-way meaning you can turn one light on from this switch. If you turn it on here, you can go around to the other side, turn it off, vice versa. So it stops you from, you know, if you're around the other side, you want to turn it on or off. You don't have to walk around here, switch it on or off. It's all it's a three-way system. Same for the light in the rooftop tent, which I'll show you soon. Three-way system. You can turn it on at the top when you're in the tent. If you get out, you forget to turn it off, there's your other switch here. So that's turning the rooftop tent light on and off at the moment. So inside we've got the fuse box, simple 12-way fuse box, and then the 120 amp hour battery. So it's the first time I've tested the electrical system. We've done a few tests with a multimeter and been charging drone batteries, camera batteries, all sorts of stuff, phones, constantly, and it's still staying at a strong 12.6, 12.7. So on the other side of the trailer, as I said, got that switch up here. That's to turn the light on from the other side. Go around, turn it off and on. You can have a bit of fun there if you like. Up top here, got a strip of LED on the bottom of the rooftop tent. That's all wired through the top. I just use contact cement. I mean, it's pretty strong stuff. This didn't have adhesive on the LED strip, so I just use contact cement. And then here, it's into the trailer with a bit of a grommet into the bottom of the rooftop tent. And the switch for that is up here, so you can turn it on and off. I've found that talking about LED lighting, I love the warm white lights of an LED light. It's hard to find. You just go have a look around, but it just doesn't have that harsh blue, cold light to it. So if you're going to choose a LED lighting system, especially for camping, you want that warmth at night. You know, it's a little thing, but I like it. Choose a warm light. So the rooftop tent, pretty much the only thing in here is got the LED strip up here. I've actually wired all the wire through the tubing here, so you can't see any wiring. And then here we've got a dimmer. It's just a cheap $2 dimmer off eBay. Works a treat. And as I said, you can walk out, leave the light on, and then turn off the light from downstairs. Got a USB charger down here for phones and all that sort of thing, but it's a given really. That's it. Okay, now my favourite part of this trailer is this big box here. So I made the box. It's an aluminium box. Bent up all the doors, tigged up all the doors, put the hinges in, and everything else. And can you guess what it is? It's a kitchen. So I'm not taking any credit for this design of kitchen. It's completely not my design, but I made it. And I think you can guess who I copied it from. It's actually Drifter. Luke Sutton from Drifter. It's his design, but I gave it a shot. Now, that's to lock in the kitchen. The kitchen slides out. So if you're familiar with the Drifter kitchen, that's basically a copy. So basically the lid comes off the top. It's a stainless steel top. I took some food grade stainless steel and just contact cement on the top. So that's basically the top that goes on later. Then this part here is the return. This is the top of the return, by the way. So that just lifts up, comes out. So before I put that on, you got the return on the side here, which is held on by a jockey elastic bloody loop, whatever you want to call it. So that's the return. And then the bottom of the return clips in there, and the legs come out like so. You lift it up, drop the legs, tighten up the legs. So you can see what's happening here. This is building the return. So this is the return bench. And there she is. So you saw it before when we were cooking up the all the meats. It's great space here. You can see it's pretty wide. You got the return there. In here is the stove, and got some more working space here. Okay, so underneath, got a bit of a leg system to support the end if you need it. I don't usually use it, but you know, there's enough. It's strong enough with the tracking and all that. But you know, if your trailer's on an angle and you know the kitchen's pointing down, you want to lift it up a bit to get it level. You want everything level. So underneath is the leg system, again telescopic. You can go down, lift it up, make the adjustment when you need to. Again, completely copied from Drifter. The design is perfect. It's so simple and effective. Why not use the same? There's a little button underneath, again like Drifter with a telescopic arm, and then it's secured up there. So the front of the kitchen, again, completely the same. Got the top drawer. I use it for standard cutlery. And then the second drawer, knives, whatever, a little bit bigger than the top one. And then the bottom one, I've got plates in there. Got a cupboard here for all the pots and pans, all that sort of thing. Nice push button lid. Got a water tap here which I hook up to a jerry can full of water. Again, this is completely the same as a Drifter kitchen. It just makes complete sense. I did a lot of research on the internet, looking at all the kitchens, and I mean, the design of this is outstanding. Just the way it packs up with the top on there, and it's just perfect. We got that's the sink, so you can fill it up with water, wash your dishes and all that sort of thing. You can take it out. As Luke from Drifter says, it's easy to put up here and wash your dishes. Put it back in there. Then you've got a nice shelf under here to store all your bloody herbs and spices and all that sort of thing. What else? Bit of storage in there. Got the stove in here. That's about it. Alright, now packing up the kitchen. It's basically in reverse. It's the same sort of thing. So you take off the top, put it aside, fold that forward, undo the legs. The legs go in these supports here. Then you lift this off. If you come around here, now you're probably thinking with the drawers, you're driving along, you think the drawers are going to come out, you know, you got this thing that comes out, got the stove and all the bits and pieces in there. But the brilliant design he's thought of, Luke that is it simply, this locks in front of that, which keeps all that stuff in place. You got this bevel here on the side, along with the female part of the bevel there, and then that just clips in like that. So that keeps the drawers in, keeps all the accessories in. Then the return folds in like that. The bungee cord, and then the top just clips in the top like so, and then that's done. Put the bungees back in, stop it from jumping around, and that, my friend, is a drifter style kitchen. Alright, so you're probably thinking about these roller tracks. Now it's a very simple system. If you know what like a simple office drawer, the way that works, it's a cantilever. It's a cantilever track. You put the first little tiny plastic bearing in, which sits on the other bearing, it rolls in and out. Have a look at that. If you want to build something like this, go to your office, pull out a drawer to see how it works. But this is basically a stepped up, more beefed up version of that. So you've got the long, I think that's 5mm metal angle, and then you've got all the bearings inside here, cantilever. Got a couple of bearings on the sides, like on horizontal, so it stops from sliding sideways. But that's pretty much it. So just, it rolls in, done, and then I've got one of these locks that locks it in place. Do not forget to put that lock in. Got a bit of a story about that, but we won't talk about that. But you can see here. Yeah, it involves this kitchen and my Volvo sedan. Don't worry about that. Anyway, so down here we got the bearings. Come and have a look. So you can see there, I've got the U channel in here. It's a big beefy U channel, or C channel, whatever you want to call it, and then got the right angle, bloody right angle metal extrusion there, whatever you want to call it, and then just a frame on the bottom, and then that rolls out. That rolls out on that. Oh, unlock it. So, and then got a bearing fixed to the end of this, you know, so it rolls on the end. You get the idea. Have a look at your office drawer, you know what I mean. That's about it there. So that locks in. Door, simple door. Done. So there you have it. There's not much more I can say. I mean, I started building this thing, God, over a year now. I mean, you have kids, I mean, I've got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old at the moment, and that's most of the reason we haven't been putting out more videos recently. It's just, you know, those of you who've got kids, you know what it's all about. Enough said. But yeah, it has taken a while, about 2 years just doing bits and pieces in the garage. But it's turned out just the way I like it. Let's talk a bit about trailers, right? Camper trailers. There's so many different trailers out there. You got the full-blown family camper trailer, pop top comes out, the fold out, you got soft tops, all that sort of thing. They all take different times to set up, you know. You got some trailers with more storage, you got kitchens outside, kitchens inside, there's all different sorts. I'm going for the touring style trailer. Simple tent on the top, lots of storage inside. You know, kitchen, this is probably going a bit over the top for a tourist style trailer, but you know, if you can do it, why not? And just all the other bits and pieces. Depends on your style of camping adventure. So again, just a huge shout out to Luke from Drifter. I don't know what I would have done if I didn't see his design, but it's turned out great. I haven't seen one of his kitchens in person, but just by looking at his videos online and that sort of thing, you know, I've just bashed this out to make it look the same. But if you want one of these kitchens, you can't be bothered making it, go to just Google Drifter Camping Australia, whatever it is. You just put in Drifter the way it's spelt, DRIFTA, and it'll come straight up. He'll ship anywhere in Australia, I believe, but just do it. It's, you know, these kitchens are unbelievable. They set up so quickly, as you saw. But if you want to build your own, I do have some computer plans. It's got all the dimensions and everything. You can pretty much send it to a CNC place that cuts it out. They'll do it all for you, and then it's basically a flat pack. It'll come to you, and then you can just build it. So if you want those plans, you just need to like the page, the Facebook page that is, must be the Facebook page. If you like the page, share it and everything, I'll check it. If you do that, I'll send you the plans, just a PDF file. It's got all the detail on it, and basically, you know, if you know how to pick up a screwdriver and a bloody rip saw, you can do it yourself. But you must like and share the page. But anyway, but if you don't want to make it, go to Drifter. Anyway, that's it. That's the camping trailer. If you've got any more questions, just post any comments or anything, and we'll get back to you.
We're out the Broke Inlet. Start off to Shannon. Shannon runs down to the Broke Inlet. So, I mean, on a day like this, unbelievable.
Alright, so we're going to have a crack at making a bit of damper. I haven't made damper a lot in my life, but we're just going to try and put something together, do something a bit different maybe. We're going to use the leftover, what do you call this? The ribs. Is that from the ribs?
Beef ribs.
Beef ribs. Got a bit of junk happening in there. It's like a bit of barbecue sauce, bit of fat. You know, stuff that comes off ribs. So there you go. So we're going to start with the flour. We'll go with the beer. Start off with that in a minute, but we'll probably need a bit more.
Did you wash your hands?
Don't worry about that. I did actually before I went to the toilet. Alright, so it's a bit different, never tried this before, but a bit of garlic, but we're going to dry roast the garlic. Sorry, not dry roast, we're going to pan fry the garlic. So chop them up. Don't want big chunks because obviously you'll get nice little bloody explosions in the mouth.
Huey Hewitson here. Just doing a...
G'day guys. We got some...
We've got a beautiful setting here out in the bush. Huey.
So,
What's his
Huey Hewinson.
No, they're the Master Chef.
Oh yeah.
What's his
The
name?
big guy. Don't know. I know what you mean though. Alright, so Mike is cutting up some parsley. Nice and finely, as you can see. So we've added some salt. We've added salt to the mixture, some pepper. Not too much pepper, but hey, that'll be fine. Going to use some lemon rind. It's not really a lemon rinder on this. Yeah, it's a bit too big. That'll be fine. So we've got the parsley, so that can go in. Probably not, I don't know. Don't want too much, I guess.
I think you need to roll
Some
it off.
ham. Some chunks. Oh, I think you just don't need to think about it too much because it's not like you're trying to dress a plate and make it look fancy for the end. All you're trying to do, so these are some cheese slices, so I'm just making into one piece of cheese, and then we can grate it in there. So we're going to dry fry this garlic. So over here, just to get to resemble the a roasted garlic rather than a fried garlic. Right, so it's about time to mix it all up. Put salt in there. Might just do a bit more. Oh, look at that. Chili salt barbecue. What do you reckon? Hey, chuck it in. I mean, it's a type of salt, I guess, and it's just got the herbs mixed in with it. Chili.
Last time I did, I put that in.
You did it. You did it before with the Carolina dirt. There we go. Carolina dirt. How do they do it? Hang on.
Alright, that's it. So I'm going to mix it up nice and good, and then we'll get it prepped for the fire. So I'm just going to rub it up with a bit of flour. Ooh, jeez. Feels like a buttock. Just got to make sure you put a lot of flour on it so it doesn't stick to the pan. That's ready to go. Put it in the pan. I like to get it sort of thinnish so it doesn't take as long to cook. That's there. This goes off and it's ready for the fire. Alright, I think she's done. Let's have a look. Oh, I reckon. I think it seems kind of perfect. We checked it before, it seemed a little bit doughy, so we put it back in for 5 minutes. But she's nice and brown. Let's take it up to the bed. Alright. I think she's fine. Let's chop into it. I'm going to go left-handed because I've only got my right glove. Let's take that off now. Well, it looks good. I don't know if it tastes any better. Yeah, good. Well, there you go.
Eat it all with the damper, man. Let them fill it up.
Tastes like export. Have I got any on my face?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this episode. It's a pretty good weekend. Until next time, have a good one.